Welcome back, Game with King family, to another F1 Clash video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the GP Boost Guide or GP Boost Selection video, where we share with you guys the best boost or the best category of boost that you want to use for each track in your opening round and your final round in the current GP event. Alright, so before we jump into it, I want to say big shout out to all of you guys who have taken the time out to subscribe to the channel. All of you guys who have taken the time out not to subscribe to the channel as well. Make sure you just tap that little subscribe button, turn on your post notification. Also smash that like button. 21k subs. We finally made it. It has been the hardest grind to get to 21k subs. But we will be doing a giveaway for you guys this time around. Alright, so look out for a post or link from me on the communications tab to share with you guys how to enter into that giveaway, so you can win some free bucks for all your troubles. Alright, so really appreciate you guys once again for all your support. Also remember to check out our merch, links down in the description under merch. Really appreciate you guys for all your support. Alright, so let's jump into it. So it's the Brazilian Grand Prix, and we're seeing the opening round tracks here. I normally don't give any boost selection for the qualifying round, because you really don't need to use boost to do qualifying, as you have 3 days to qualify. So if you don't make it on day 1, you could do it again day 2 and on day 3. So you really don't need to select any boost, expensive boost for qualifying. You could use any regular little boost around there for qualifying. Alright, so we normally just go with the opening round and the final round, where are the two toughest rounds in the game. Especially the opening round. Making it to the final round has been very difficult for a lot of players this season, and these videos hopefully are helping, as I have been getting some good comments from you guys, so I keep them coming because you guys are appreciating them and liking them and using the tips that I give you guys in these videos. Alright, so let's jump on into it. First race up is going to be Brazil. 33% chance of rain for Brazil. So we look and we see if it's dry for Brazil, you want to go with speed and corners. For Brazil, if it's dry, so boost that gives you speed and corners are the boosts that you want to use. If it's dry, let's go over to our boost chart. Alright, so speed and corners. So you could go with a boost that gives you high speed, or you could go with a boost that gives you high corners. Alright, so if it's dry, you could go with a boost like let me see which boost. You could go with a boost like the fireworks that gives you 5 speed there, so that gives a lot of speed. You could go with that. You could go with a boost like the gin that gives you a good amount of corners there, or the odd that gives you a good amount of corners. I don't think there is a boost that gives you speed and corners all together as one, so we don't see that boost. The SAR, there you could go, but that's mostly for wet races. The dead fast, which is high speed. So those kind of boosts that gives you a good amount of speed are the kind of boosts that you want to go for around Brazil. Or if you don't have boost with good speed, or if you want to go one boost with high speed, one boost with high corners, a boost like the Kawaii boost here with the high corners will turn out to be great. All right, also remember, if you could squeeze a little tire management in there, that works really well most of the time. So if you could find a boost with like speed, like the dead fast here with speed with a little bit of tires, that's great. If you could find a boost with corners, like the SAR boost here, though it's for dry, it does have a little bit of corner. It has a good amount of corners and it has some tires in there. Those boosts are always great. All right, if it's wet, you're gonna go for speed and corners again if it's wet. So you're gonna this time now, you're not gonna be selecting boost that gives you that little extra tires. You're mostly gonna be selecting boost that gives you wetness ability with those speed or corners. So a boost like the Hex that gives you high speed with a little bit of wetness ability in there would be good. A boost like the Exception with high speed and a little bit of wetness in there would be good. Samba, the boost of the event, a little bit of speed, but it does have some wetness ability in there. It gives you a lot of fuel, so you have a lot of chances, a lot more boost possibility throughout the track there. Or you could go with like Tune, boost like that gives you speed and corners. Works for dry and it works for wet. But for the dry races, you want to select the ones that doesn't give you wetness ability, and for the wet races, you want to select the one with the wetness ability. All right, to get the most out of it. So we see the next track coming up on the list is going to be Singapore. We've been talking very long on Brazil there, very long, but that covers like number 1 and number 8 for Brazil. So we're jumping on now to Singapore, where we see corners and grip are the preferred boost for Singapore. So boost that gives you good corners and good grip, like the Jin boost here that gives you corners and grip. You could go like Eagle that gives you a high amount of grip, and it also gives you some tire management, as I said before. The Skull boost here that gives you a high amount of corners. You could go with boosts like that for Singapore. So any boost that gives you high corners, high grip, you could go for it. So let me show you a simple combination that I like to use sometime. So for a track that requires like high grip, high corners. All right. So if you could go with one boost that gives you the highest amount of cornering, like the Skull here, and then you go for another boost like the Reindeer that gives you the highest amount of grip, that will max out your allocation for both drivers in terms of stats. So you have a high amount of corners on one driver, a high amount of grip on the other driver. That's really good. If you could go with the Kawaii here that gives you a high amount of corners and grip, that's really nice for one driver. And then you could go for another boost that gives you a high amount of corners and grip like the Jin. Also, if your drivers have good tire management and you really don't need that extra tires, then the Jin and the Kawaii boost will be really nice boosts to be used at Singapore there. All right. So next track we see is Italy, 46% chance of rain. Let me look at the map here to be certain. Yep, Italy is the next track. 46% chance of rain for Italy. So for a dry Italy, we see where corners and grip, that the same boost that you use on Singapore, if it's a dry Italy, you could use them at Italy as well. We see corners and grip being the featured driver here for Italy. However, if it's a wet Italy, because of that 46% chance of rain, if it's a wet race, then you want to go with corners and speed. All right, so you want to go for those wet boosts that gives you those corners and that speed. Or you could go one boost with high speed, one boost with high corners with some wetness ability in there. All right, for Italy. All right, a track like Italy is very long, so it burns tires down really bad. So a boost like the SAR that gives you a little bit of extra tires with those corners will be really well for the wet around Italy. So make sure you select a boost like that for your drivers with the lowest amount of tire management, and your driver with the highest amount of tire management. You could go with a boost like the Tune, or you could go with a boost like the Hex for that speed. All right. So in terms of speed, tracks that require speed, you kind of don't want to go like two corners boosts on a track that requires speed. You want to go like speed and corners for a track like that. All right, so always try to do like one driver with both attributes, or one driver with one attributes and the other driver with the other attributes. You don't want to go with like both drivers on one side of the attribute scale. All right, so that's it for Italy. All right, so next track up I think is France, where we see corners and grip being featured for France. So the same boost that you use at Singapore and dry Italy are the same boosts you can use at France. All right, so France is a very long track around the back, so you can throw in some speed boosts in there as well to pick up some position. So corner and grip is the main feature of France, but you can still squeeze in a little bit of speed boost there to pick up some extra position on the long straights. Sometimes your drivers get stuck, sometimes they do not, and they make up the positions. But you can also throw in some boost with some speed in there. Make sure you throw in, if you're throwing boost with speed, make sure you get some boost that gives you some form of tire management with that speed. If you're going to be throwing in a boost with the speed like the Lumberjack here, make sure you get something that gives you a little extra tire management for France, because France is just like Italy. It's another one of those long tracks, and it burns the tires up really fast. All right, so for our next track we have Austria. Austria is going to be dry. So it's going to be corners and speed for Austria. So Austria is one of those tracks where if you're going to be aiming to get like the fastest lap of a event, Austria is the track where you want to go for it and give it your best. So boost that gives you high speed on Austria, like the Vice boost here, that gives you a good amount of speed. The Dead Fast, that gives you a good amount of speed. The Lumberjack, that gives you a good amount of speed. The Hex, that gives you a good amount of speed. the fireworks that gives you a good amount of speed. These are the boosts that you want to be using with that driver that you want to aim to get that fastest lap with, and then just pull away and burn that driver up to pick up that fastest lap. All right, so Austria is requiring corners and speed. All right, so you want to go one driver with that speed to go for that fastest lap, and then you want to go one driver with corners, so you balance out on all scales of the aspect ratios there. All right, so next track up is the UK, United Kingdom, and it's going to be dry. So dry UK requires corners and grip not corners and grip. I apologize for that. Corners and speed is what a dry UK would require. So basically the same kind of corners and speed that Austria requires is what UK requires. And if you could put in, as I said before, if you could throw in some boost with a little extra tire management in there for the UK, that would be really good. You could extend those laps and go longer while the rest of the pack goes short, and then you could pick up with the undercut, or the overcut I should say, not undercut, as you're going longer than them. So you could pick up some positions with the overcut when they go back to pit, as you will be going all the way home. All right, so corners and speed for the United Kingdom. Right, so go with any boost that gives you speed and corners, or one boost with high speed, one boost with high corners. You could go with that. All right, so as I said before, I don't think there is a boost in the game that gives you speed and corners all together. I think we saw a boost that gives you speed and grip or something like that, but we haven't seen any boost that gives us speed and corner. So maybe Hutch need to give us a brand new boost that gives us some form of speed with some form of cornering on it, and then we want another boost with some form of speed and some form of grip on it. All right, so that's two new boost idea for Hutch there to come up with those boosts. All right, so let's see. The next track is going to be Imola, and then Brazil 100% wet is going to be the other one. We already went over Brazil from the start. So Imola, it is 45% wetness. So if it's a dry Imola, you want to go for corners and grip for your dry Imola, and if it's a wet Imola, you want to go with speed and grip. As I said, we need a boost that gives us speed and corners, and a boost that gives us speed and grip. All right, so make sure if you're selecting those boosts for the wet races on Imola, make sure you go like Hex. That gives you that high amount of speed with that wetness ability. You always want to do, once it's a wet race, always select a boost with some form of wetness ability in there, and go with those boosts, and those boosts should give you the best results. All right, so that's basically it for this one. Let me know if you guys have been using these videos to plan your strategy for your event. Use code word massive value down below to let me know that you made it to this portion of the video. Really appreciate you guys for all your support, and thank you guys so much again for being a part of the Gaming with King family, being a part of the channel. I really appreciate you guys so much as we continue to grow to probably 22,000 subs before the end of the year. Hopefully we can make it and do another giveaway for you guys. But that's basically going to be it for this one. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about these tips, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Well, good guys. Bye. Shout out to Marco Pedrano, AMG, Alfredo Jr., Fit Mantis, Christopher Graves, Nathan Arseno, and Touch My Dilly.